Howdy everyone, welcome for another beer review. This is called Looptid. It is a collaboration between Salud Cerveceria and New Anthem Beer Project. They are both North Carolina breweries. They're in Wilmington. Awesome little funky 80s type can. So why don't you stay tuned after the theme song and we'll get into it. And I'm back. So, like I said, this is a collaboration which I got from Brian at Beer Me Greenville, Beer Me GVL on Instagram. In a beer tray, he was kind enough to send me a couple more cans, so go give him a follow if you so choose, if you're on that platform. Now, this is a collaboration, as I said before, with Salud let me work on my Spanish. Cerveceria, Salud Cerveceria, and New Anthem Beer Project. I, of course, am in South Carolina. They are both North Carolina breweries. Salud is a big name out of Charlotte. New Anthem is out of Wilmington. So they're a little bit of a hike from each other. But it's called Looptid. It is a cold IPA, otherwise known as an India Pale Lager. By comparative terms, checks in at 6.6% alcohol by volume. Not too much on Untappd. It classifies as an American IPA, which I guess is probably not inaccurate, but American IPA, to me, I typically don't so much like them, and I like these cold IPAs and IPLs a lot more. So it'll be interesting to see what I find out, what I like about this. And all else that's on Untappd is just it's a cold IPA and it's a collaboration with Salud Cerveceria. So let's not waste any more further time. Enough listening to me yabber on. Let's crack this open and see what she's like. Sexy pop. Well, if you look at this beer, it kind of has a traditional lager type of appearance to it. Lager, Pilsner, that sort of thing. Well, maybe it's a little cloudy for a traditional Pilsner. So maybe more lager. So that would adhere to my expectation of it being an IPL versus an American IPA. If you can see that it's pretty transparent. I mean, you can see my fingers pretty clearly through that. Although oddly enough, and it may just be the lighting, I can't see it as nearly as well from my end of the perspective. So let's take a nose. That's interesting. This has more. Okay, so remember I look at the color, and I think this stacks up more towards lager type, so I'm thinking IPL. The aroma stacks up more to an IPA. So maybe that contributes more to an American Pale Ale. Because that is very subtly juicy, very subtly hoppy. Neither is overpowering. You definitely have to pick it out a little bit. And if somebody probably wasn't a beer aficionado, and I'm certainly not claiming I am by any stretch of the imagination, but if someone wasn't necessarily of that ilk, they would probably smell this and think more lager. They probably wouldn't think IPA. But to me, it definitely hints more IPA than lager. So there's only one way to decide this argument or debate, as if we can call it that. Let's take a sip. It's definitely a lot more IPA than lager, let me tell you. Okay, so interesting thing about this beer is I get way more. See, on the aroma, it was kind of, because I looked at the color and I smelled the beer, and it was kind of 50-50. I'm like, okay, this could go either way. I could see this being a lager. I could see this being more of an APA. When I taste it, it's a lot more APA. There's a very strong malty bitterness. Very strong malty bitterness. If you don't like West Coast, you probably will not like this. However, if you like your beers with more of a stronger, powerful backbone to it, and not so much that like smooth, juicy type of flavor, you will probably love this beer. So it definitely draws a line in the sand on the flavor. This is not something that every single beer drinker is going to like. Your palate needs to be specific to this beer. You need to like those high malt, high bitter, high hoppy type of beers. Which is funny because it doesn't so much look like it would be that. This, I still stand by what I said before on the color. This looks like it would be a clean, crisp type of lager. It does not look like it would be more on the IPA side. But tasting it, it is definitely more on the IPA side. Definitely a lot more on the APA side. It has that, like I said, that malty, strong, bitter backbone to it. So it's no wonder why Beer Me Greenville gave me this beer, because I think he's trying to sell me on trying to convert me over to the West Coast side instead of the New England side. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe. If you like what you saw, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you know exactly when my videos drop, coming straight to you on your phone, tablet, mobile device, what have you. If you want to recommend a beer to me, or maybe even send me a beer, go to email me, nutmeg2palmetto@gmail.com. We'll sort out all the fine details there. If this isn't enough of me for you, I know that's a terrible thought. More of me. Who wants that? Go ahead and follow me on my social media channels, Instagram and TikTok, @nutmeg2palmetto. TikTok and Instagram, @nutmeg2palmetto. And enjoy all my fun, zany antics on those platforms. Until then, I still think on my next Charlotte run I need to include Salud, because they're very much a titan, and I need to have more of their beer. So, cheers, folks. I'll see you next time.